Let's now shift our focus to India, where the COVID-19 cases have crossed 528,000 or 5.28 lakh as the country deals with an exponential rise in the number of cases each day. Let's break down the numbers further for you. The graph on your screens now shows India's rising cases in the last 1 week. The last 7 days have seen a meteoric rise in the number of cases, with more than 100,000 cases being added to India's total tally. The country again witnessed its highest single-day surge in the number of COVID-19 cases, with nearly 20,000 new cases recorded in the last 24 hours. India also recorded 410 deaths in the last 24 hours, taking the country's total death toll to more than 16,000. In terms of hotspots, Maharashtra continues to remain a huge concern. The state of Maharashtra now has more than 159,000 cases, and the national capital, Delhi, is the second biggest hotspot and the worst affected city with more than 80,000 COVID-19 cases. Tamil Nadu, which is the third worst affected state, has more than 78,300 cases. However, Tamil Nadu has a higher number of active cases than Delhi for now. But even with the rising number of cases, the good news is that India's recovery rate stands at more than 58%. Recovered cases in India have also surpassed active cases by a record 100,000. Meanwhile, even with its fast-paced recovery, India's fatality rate remains the worst in South Asia at 3.1%. The country has added to the death toll faster than any other in the region. However, India has a lower death rate per million when compared to Pakistan and Afghanistan. Let's now go to our next story. After fighting for over 20 years against the Taliban forces, the US is now trying to achieve peace in Afghanistan. But a new, stunning report from the New York Times accuses Russia of offering bounties to the Taliban to attack United States forces in the war-torn nation. According to this report, the US intelligence has concluded that Russia offered cash rewards and bounties to Taliban terrorists to kill American and other allied troops in Afghanistan. The report also claims that the United States was aware of Russia's involvement in the assassination attempts and covert operations across Europe months ago. It is believed that Islamic terrorists closely associated with Russia collected their bounty cash and carried out several attacks against the US. However, it is not clear which killings are under suspicion. The officials in Kremlin have condemned the claim and denounced the news report as baseless. The Foreign Ministry of Russia called the report, and I quote, primitive informational dump of propagandists at American intelligence. In Washington, D.C., the Russian embassy also took to Twitter and hit out at the New York Times and accused the publisher of producing fake news. The Taliban in Afghanistan also cried foul and completely rejected the report. In a statement issued by Taliban's leadership, it said that Islamic Emirates' war against the US is not indebted to benefit any intelligence agency or foreign nation. However, the leadership also reiterated that it was committed to the peace deal and was expecting the withdrawal of all foreign forces from Afghanistan. Meanwhile, in the United States, the presidential candidate Joe Biden has hit out at US President Donald Trump for embarrassing himself in front of Russian President Vladimir Putin, calling Trump's entire presidency a gift to Putin. Biden has accused the US president of failing to impose sanctions against Russia for having violated international law.
Donald Trump has continued his embarrassing campaign of deference and debasing himself before Vladimir Putin. He has this information, according to the Times, and yet he offered to host Putin in the United States and sought to invite Russia to rejoin the G7. His entire presidency has been a gift to Putin, but this is beyond the pale. It's a betrayal of the most sacred duty we bear as a nation, to protect and equip our troops when we send them into harm's way.
America's longest-running war has been in Afghanistan. With more than 100,000 troops stationed in Afghanistan, Washington has now reduced them to 8,600 after the signing of the peace deal in February. Afghanistan has lost more than 45,000 security personnel and more than 100,000 civilians since the year 2009 in this long-drawn civil war.
That way, over the compound, second compound on the right.